Hi everyone. I wanted to make a video about some things that have been happening to me recently that I wanted to share, and I felt guided to share. But I felt I needed to record this video as a preliminary, so um, I didn't really feel like I wanted to put them all in the same video. So I just wanted to share with everybody some visions and things that I was shown many years ago. So for a little bit of background on the background, I woke up spiritually in around 2010 after having a kind of twin flame experience and having this crazy connection with this person that I just couldn't put into words, and I could feel the physical pulling, and I started getting signs and the telepathy. And I'm sure anyone that's had the experience is aware of what goes on. So I was drawn quite quickly as well to information around the 144,000 and revelations and end times. I didn't really give it too much thought, if I'm honest with you. I looked into it a little bit because I felt drawn to, but my focus was completely and utterly on twin flames. I was obsessed with twin flames. Like, all I wanted to do was be with my twin flame. And that just completely took over anything else. So the little bits that I looked at were just little bits here and there. It wasn't really a focus of mine at all. But it did come up as far back as then. I think, if I'm honest, when I read it, it felt like something that would take lifetimes to happen, or just wasn't going to happen. I think it's worked something on my forehead. Wasn't, there felt to me like no way could all this stuff happen within my lifetime, let alone do I sit here 10 years later and see how much has happened already. So I also had some visions, and I really, really can't remember when these visions were. I think they were around 2013, but I could be wrong. I was in a period where I had a hell of a lot of out-of-body experiences going on. Every few days or so, I would be kind of out of body or having crazy visions. I wasn't really a part of the real world at all around this time. I would literally just work, do a job, and then go back to kind of researching spirituality or doing something spiritual. I was a member of a center where I would do yoga and meditation. I didn't do any plant medicine, I would just like to say. I have tried medicine just a handful of times more recently, but did not do any in the early stages at all, nothing whatsoever. Not even cacao, really. But I was doing a daily practice. I used to go to that yoga center. They would do constellations. They would do Metatronic healing, Reiki. They would just do everything. And I used to go there from about 10 in the morning till 11 at night, multiple times a week. It really was my life. And I think this probably is, I was also raw vegan. So I think this is probably a lot of the reason why I was able to have so many of these experiences. I was pushed into the earth and shown past lives. I had a sort of near-death type experience where I left my body and could look at it and make a choice as to whether I went back. I actually walked down the road once and everything around me changed to a different scene, and I was kind of almost physically there. I had felt my consciousness expand out of my body. Like, I've had a lot of different things happen to me. So also felt myself on an alien spacecraft. It might not have been alien, but it was kind of very futuristic. It was all white, and I had something done to my brain. So I've seen UFOs. I've had starseeds, aliens, been visited by, like, I've had so many things happen to me. Recently, I've had a lot less things happen to me, probably because I've been much more engaged in the real world, and I haven't really been in a constant state of going within and being present. So back when I was having a lot of these experiences. Actually, it started to die down a bit. So that was really, really strong between 2010 and around 2012. I think it did already start to die down a bit around 2013, because I was starting to kind of get on with my life. I was starting to be a lot more grounded, a lot more in the real world. But I did have these very strong experiences, and even though I dismissed them to some point, I still remember them so clearly. I still remember exactly what I was shown, and even at the time I felt they were really important. I guess I just dismissed them as being so unrealistic of actually happening. So the first vision that I had, and this was the kind of vision where I was actually there on the underground in London, and there was people walking around me, and I sort of, the vision was like a layer on top of what was actually happening to me. So there really were people walking in the tube, but I visualized somebody on a megaphone telling I might have done a video on this already, but I can't remember, so that's why I'm doing it. There was a guy on a megaphone, and he was telling everybody, just follow me. And everyone was like a zombie, just following this guy on the megaphone. And I knew inside of me, these people were walking to their death. And I just couldn't get through to them. I just kept saying, everyone turn around, like you're going the wrong way, like this is dangerous. All you have to do is turn around and walk this way. But no one would listen to me. And there was just me on my own, walking through a sea of people, just following a guy on a megaphone, saying, this way, everyone, this way. And I was literally just this lone person walking against this sea of people. And it was so easy for me. No one was trying to stop me. I wasn't being forced to go anywhere. I had absolutely free will to just turn around at any point and walk the other way. Then the second vision that I had, and these just feel quite clumped together, they happened around the same time, was that I know this is going to be a bit of a doomsday one, and it's why I kind of pushed it out of my mind. And I've always been of the thing of like, no, we are in control of our reality, and I'm not even going to pay that one any attention, and it's probably not going to happen. And I just couldn't even imagine how it could happen or envision it. But basically it was sort of there weren't many people left in the world. That's all I'm going to say. There was, in my area, and I don't actually know where I was, because I didn't see landmarks or anything like that. So, I mean, although I assumed I was where I was at the time, there was nothing to suggest that I couldn't have been somewhere else. There was 8 of us left in my area, and we'd met up. It didn't look like a war zone, that's all I'm going to say, because it didn't, like, things were left. The whole world was just, well, not the whole world, but the whole area around me was just empty. So the immediate things that, weren't there were things like electricity. I do remember being able to text somebody, but for some reason I couldn't contact anyone abroad. There was no internet or Wi-Fi or anything like that. The internet was gone. But I do remember being able to text somebody at some point. But, our primary thing was we were going into shops, and we were taking the food, because everything had just been left. And we were able to kind of go in and do that. But I think we came to this realization that we weren't going to be able to do that for long, and that we had to actually sort of find a way to, start growing our own things, purifying water, turning electricity back on felt like a really big thing that, we needed to work out how to do. But yeah, it didn't look like things had been destroyed. It kind of just looked like they'd been left. But it was very apparent that we were sort of the only people left. But we felt like there was other people left in other countries and like further away from where we were. But obviously we couldn't really get there. There was this thing of, how far would I get on petrol in the car? And, how would I top that petrol up? And yeah, this was just a really, really strong vision. I remember like wanting to reach somebody in another country, and there was no way that I could. There was sort of no way of contacting other countries. It was going back to, times in the past where we were with technology. And obviously we had to try and work out between us how to get things working. And that was really where I woke up and left the vision. And I have shared that with a few people recently, and it's amazing how many people have had similar visions, which is kind of worrying. And just lately, more things have been happening to me, and I'm going to share them in the next video. This war that's going on, I just so focused on it, and you know, it's not normal for me. I don't watch the news. I haven't really been involved in political affairs ever at all. I haven't owned a television for like 20 years. I don't read newspapers. I'm not saying I've never read one, but you know, I did not buy one. I don't really bother with them. I've never really gotten involved in what's going on, but this just feels like a massive crossroads to me, and like a lot, like it's kickstarting a speed of things moving. You know, I always do believe that we have free will here. Like, I do believe there is like an ultimate state, that, you know, we have to get to a point of unity, and there's many ways that can happen. But it feels like things have just been kickstarted very, very fast now, and things are moving very fast. And I'm really focused on it, not because I believe the narrative or any narrative that's put out there or anything like that, but I feel like this is time to kind of get ourselves into like readiness for what's going to come or what could come. And I'm going to move this over to the next video. I just wanted to share those experiences on this one because I didn't really want to put them in the next one because I thought it would be a bit messy. So yeah, that's some visions, and I just felt like I wanted to share them. You can dismiss them, you can think I'm crazy, whatever. I just felt a responsibility at this point to share those things that I've seen, and I do know other people that have seen similar things, and yeah,